back-to-back submission wins, a whole lot more on top of that, and he headlines in Price, Utah in just a couple of weeks. It is Jason Eargle making his pro debut. Jason, how you been, my man?
Doing pretty good, doing pretty good. How about you, Blake?
Doing wonderful. I want to start things right where that is, the back-to-back guillotine wins. I talked to your dad a couple of days after that, and he said that he didn't necessarily want you to pull guard twice and pull those guillotines, but they were at the right time, the right moment. I want to talk to you a little bit about that and the decision making in your past couple of wins because they've been identical.
Yeah, honestly, in my last one, I didn't even plan for that one. It just kind of happened. Um, I mean, when we were scrambling up and he just kind of left his neck there, so I just grabbed it and went for it. And then with my first one against Pelto, same thing. He just went in for a naked shot and I just left his neck open and I just saw it there, so I just grabbed it.
You've been training since you were a little kid, and so I'm curious, is that something that you've always gone to? Is that guillotine on that, takedown entry?
Um, a little bit, but it's not something I've like drilled a whole lot, but it's it was definitely something that was in the back of my head when I was training to fight Walker Pelto because I saw how he would like not set up his shots and kind of leave his head in for that guillotine.
Sure. What did that mean to you to get that win in December and then continue that on, defend against a guy like Tyler Call, two very high level guys in Pelto and Call? You're able to get the finish in both of them.
Yeah, honestly, it meant a lot to me because I was before that, like I knew I was good, but I kind of lacked that confidence I really needed as a fighter. And getting both of those title wins back to back really kind of helped me boost my confidence and really made me realize, like, okay, like I can actually do this, you know?
Yeah, I think that's huge. And I think a lot of people have noticed maybe not necessarily the confidence, but just you kind of figuring it out. You started off your amateur career a little bit more on the 500 side, and now you've strung together a whole lot in a row. How important is that confidence as you make this transition into a professional fighter?
I think it's still very important to have that confidence because I feel like especially as a professional, like if you don't have that kind of confidence, then you're not gonna really do well. I mean, I guess that really kind of goes with whether you're amateur or pro with all
Sure.
kinds of fighting, but I think it's just especially just that much more important as a pro as well.
When did you start training martial arts? How old were you?
I think I think I started training jujitsu when I was about 9 years old, and then I trained Muay Thai very on and off for like a few years, and then but I mean I didn't really start taking it seriously until I was about 15, 16.
What was it that made you want to start taking it seriously? Was it as simple as your dad and just kind of living in the gym?
That and just having just having a good like an actual like Muay Thai coach as well.
Who was your Muay Thai coach?
His name is Sean Owens. He's out of St. George. He was my first actual Muay Thai coach.
When did Empire MMA open, and where have you trained in this southern Utah realm? I know you're in Price now, but obviously a lot of home base was Empire MMA, and then you've gotten your training all over the place, I should say.
Right. So Empire MMA, like so we actually first opened it as Cedar City Jiu Jitsu and MMA, and that was in 2014. And then in 2018, we started to get like considerably bigger. And so we had to relocate buildings. And then that's also when we kind of did that brand change as well. But I've also trained a lot down at Fusion down in St. George.
One of the things that makes you so interesting is it's not just you, it's your dad who used to compete back in the day, obviously another high level martial artist in his own right. What was it like growing up and watching your dad compete and prepare and also coach and run a gym?
I mean, honestly, like it was. I mean, that's my dad, so like watching him compete was definitely kind of scary, but I think that's also one of the things too that really motivated me to be a competitor as well, because I looked at that and I was like, oh, I want to do that too.
Do you have any specific memory of maybe the first fight you ever saw him, the first time you ever saw him take a punch or him get a big time win? What was that like for you as a kid?
So the first time I ever saw him fight was in Mountain Force. It was a kickboxing fight, and it was for the super heavyweight belt. And like that was first time I'd ever seen him fight, and especially as a title fight, like it really had me kind of scared a little bit. But seeing him come out on top on that one really, it was a really good moment.
What are those conversations like behind closed doors with your dad? How often are you guys talking X's and O's? How often is he just dad? What is that dynamic like?
Like whenever we're not like in the gym, like we do. I feel like we do have a really good balance of like, talking about my fighting career, like talking about what to nip and tuck and like, okay, like we need to work on this and we need to do this, but I feel like we also have a really good balance of that and then also just having like a normal father-son relationship as well.
I want to get back to you and your abilities and what you've been able to do over the past year plus at this point. How do you think you leveled up? What do you think it was that not necessarily changed? We talked about your confidence, but what was it maybe in your training or maybe a mindset flip?
Honestly, I'm not even really sure about that. Just for some reason, like after my last loss to Roger Ashley down at Crown Fighting Championship, I'm not exactly sure what it was, but something kind of just clicked in my head.
What made you want to jump to pro rather than stay as an amateur? Obviously, you won the belt, you defended it. Typically, people move to pro, but what was it personally for you?
Yeah, honestly, that the fact that, I won the belt and I defended it, but honestly, like I feel like my skills are finally where I feel like they need to be to make that jump to pro. And also feel like that there was really almost nobody left on the Utah amateur scene anyways.
How does that feel to know that you kind of checked every box and did everything that you had wanted to do when you first started fighting?
Honestly, it feels good, but at the same time, like I know I trained hard. Like I know I did everything I needed to get there in the first place as well.
I think one of your most special intangibles, Jason, is your height and the height advantage that you typically pose over these people. How aware are you of this, and how much do you try to utilize that into your game plan? Maybe not showing all your cards, but what is it about being that tall gives you an advantage or maybe a disadvantage?
Right. Honestly, I mean, I definitely feel like I have the advantage being a taller fighter because I feel like I can utilize my range a lot better. Um, Also, what a lot of people don't realize too is like when I'm being a taller guy and being a longer guy, I feel like that also works to my advantage in the grappling department as well because a lot of people like when I shoot in for a takedown, a lot of people they're not like exactly aware of how long I am, and so it's a little bit easier for me to kind of just wrap my arms around and get that takedown.
I was talking to Alex Leva a couple weeks ago, and he mentioned, "Oh, can you interview Jason as well?" And I feel like you've already made such an impact on these Price Utah fighters. What has that been like for you to kind of become a coach, you and your dad to move into this place that was relatively unknown to you prior?
Honestly, it feels great. Because I mean, me and my dad moved here, like we were like relatively unknown. Like we didn't really know that many people, and for everyone here to kind of just welcome us in like that, like it feels really good. And it really does make me proud too to see what we're doing with these fighters and to see how well they're doing because I feel like when our fighters do well, that's also a reflection of how well we do as coaches.
I wanted to ask you about your trajectory and where you think the fight career is going from this point. Obviously, the pro debut against Hal Mitchell, July 26th. What does the next year or two look like for you? And what are kind of those lofty goals in the back of your brain?
So honestly, within the next year or two, like I definitely want to take a little bit of time off. Not too long, but enough to kind of heal up some nagging injuries and kind of just take a breather for a little bit because I've been super active. But but I want to say like by the start of 2026, that's when I really want to start getting active and trying to find as many fights as I can to be able to make it to that next level as a pro.
You've competed in St. George, you've competed in Salt Lake, you've competed in a lot of places, I should say. What is maybe your favorite spot to compete, whether it's under the Fierce banner or somewhere else?
Honestly, my favorite spot to compete that I've competed in so far is for Challenger Series and Price, just because like that's my hometown, like that's my crowd. I mean, it's not my hometown, but like I'm here,
Yeah.
that's my crowd, and it feels kind of electric when I'm out there, you know?
No, I think a lot of people are looking forward to your return to Price, Utah, as well as the entirety of the card. Is there anyone specific that you're seeing in the gym right now that you're looking forward to on July 26th to go and perform?
Honestly, all of our fighters out of Fierce that are competing on the July 26th card, I'm really looking forward to see compete because I feel like all of them have made incredible improvements, and I'm really excited for them to go out there and showcase it.
Competing against Hal Mitchell, what are you looking forward to in this matchup? What gets you excited about competing against him?
One thing that does get me excited about this fight is like I know I definitely he's definitely like he's a lot shorter of an opponent, so I feel like it'll it'll be it'll be really good for me because I'll be able to establish my reach a little bit better. And I feel like too if the striking doesn't necessarily go well in this fight, which I mean honestly like obviously I think it'll go well, but if it doesn't, then I know I have that grappling in my back pocket as well.
You have been so impressive in the past year, and we can't wait to see this all continue on and hopefully successes in the main event opposite Hal Mitchell again. Price, Utah. Tickets are on sale now at fiercefightingchampionship.com. Looking forward to it, Jason. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. See you in a couple of weeks. Thank you.